Hello, this is Rachel Cipriano coming to you again from Magnificent Resilience. I wanted to piggyback on a video I made late last week that I shared at that time and a little bit earlier in the week. In full transparency, that video was censored to some degree, and I was very surprised by that because essentially I was informed it was being fact-checked, and really it was just a matter of my own life experiences, learning how to stand up for myself in the midst of some difficulties and encouraging other people to learn how to think for themselves and not necessarily just blindly follow the authorities, which is something that I learned in my life experience that honed my resilience, gave me the opportunity to become the person I am today. I openly talk about, it's really two pillars. It was my faith and my commitment to education. When I was 3 or 4, I can remember standing in my family kitchen saying, I'm going to college. And that was a difficult journey for me. It was not going to happen without my own scholarship and so forth. So I realized that early on. I was with my aunt. At the time I was 15. I was no longer with my parents, and I knew my education would depend upon me, and therefore I joined every club that I could and did everything possible to position me for a full tuition scholarship, which I'm happy to tell you I was able to attain. And I had a master's degree by the time I was 23. So as I said, those two pillars, the faith and the education, but also that ability to question the beliefs and the ideas that were being espoused by the people who surrounded me for much of my life in those formative years. And that is a skill that has certainly served me well throughout my adult life as well. That I was encouraging people that you do need to learn to stand up for yourself, to question, to not just go along to get along. And I was very upset, quite frankly, that this was fact-checked. This didn't make much sense to me, to be honest with you. But this is kind of the sign of just how everything seems to be approached now. There seems to be an encouragement to, have compliance and to trust your life choices to the experts and what have you. And all I can say is the silver lining in the cloud of my life, that it was very challenging and it had adversities, but I learned to not just assume because somebody was in a position of power that they necessarily had my best interest at heart. That just wasn't my life experience, and it has served me very well to this day. So even if you had a little bit more positive experience growing up, I will insist that a very essential part of the resilience is discerning whether the person giving you that advice or sharing their expertise has your best interest at heart. That is very, very important. As a result of the PTSD and some of the different experiences that I had, I did have to seek therapy and seek coaching and all of these great things that have helped me come as far as I am today. All coaches have coaches and all that, and I wouldn't be standing and doing you much of a service if I wasn't willing to walk the walk myself, and I have throughout my life. But even with those therapists who I do believe absolutely had my best interest at heart, I didn't necessarily just blindly take their advice because I told them This is my health. This is my life. This is my body. And you're not going to have to live with the consequences of a treatment modality that you're rolling the dice on. I'm going to. So we have to be partners here. If you're looking for someone who is just going to blindly follow whatever you say, then I'm not the client for you, because that's just not my nature. So anyway, I encourage you, you need to adopt that attitude for your maximum resilience, success, and significance. You've got to look out for you and trust yourself, trust you. Don't go through life thinking that, well, I'll just export my life decisions to people who've gotten more education than I have, or, you know, had more life experience in a particular area. My answer to that is be very careful. I love to learn from teachers. I love to learn from people who have gifts and abilities that I haven't pursued dispassionately. But at the end of the day, regardless of how much I respect their kindness, their care, their expertise, I'm going to do what's best for me and my family. So I encourage you to think about that. I encourage you to do the same, because just passively receiving party line is not a recipe for true resilience, success, and significance. Rachel Cipriano with Magnificent Resilience. Please like, share, and subscribe.